Hi, I'm Jason, and this is my son Christian, and he has special needs which result in sensory issues which affect him through sound and touch, which means getting a haircut at a barbershop would be terribly difficult for him. So I learned how to cut his hair at home so we can have a special time of bonding with each other, and I can give him the space so they can communicate in his own time so I can know what's on his heart. Now, one of the things that happens a lot with Chris is because of his speech delay, a lot of people try to say something to him and they expect a response very quickly. And what usually happens is I apologize for his speech delay and just tell them to give him a little bit of time to say something, or they just say, oh no, that's okay, and then they no longer pursue a conversation with Christian. And the thing is, Christian is so used to this that he's already prepared for them to check out of trying to have a conversation with him, and then he just sits there or plays on his phone or gets up and goes someplace else because he knows that they're no longer going to speak to him. Which makes it so crazy that earlier this year we were able to go to a Disney Power of Joy event, and we sat down at a table that Keith Lee and his family were eating at. And Keith saw Chris in a gaming t-shirt and asked him, hey, what game you play? And I was ready to start apologizing for Chris's speech delay when Chris looks at him and goes, Fort? And Keith Lee was like, oh yeah, I know he's a gamer. He didn't even need to say the whole word. He just said Fort. And so they went back and forth and started talking about their favorite parts of the game of Fortnite. And I sat there shocked, just watching Chris talking to Keith Lee, and Keith Lee just chopping it up with Chris. And they were just going back and forth, and Chris was laughing. He does not trust people with his voice normally. And this is his first time meeting Keith. But there was something about him to Chris that made Chris feel safe enough to speak to him and to share his voice with him. A lot of my time is spent protecting Chris from the cruelty of the world, but sometimes you just come across good people. And in those moments with Chris and Keith, he showed that he could tell by himself who good people are. He didn't just treat Chris like a person. He treated Christian like family. And this is something that neither me or Chris will ever forget. It's something that gives us hope for the future, that people will be kinder, people will be better, and Chris will be able to be himself.